Hello and welcome to Bees 5, where we embrace the steep learning curve of keeping bees. August became very steep as we got caught out by the wasps. The flow hive roof looks quite superb. Another feature of the flow hive roof I really like is the large overhang keeps the rain off the walls of the hive. Unfortunately it doesn't fit over my 2-litre feeder, so a bit of bodging until I sort that one out. But I have made my own roof with a similar large overhang, and it fits over the feeder. Here we go, just put that on. Look at that, there we go, nice job. It is the beginning of August, and as you can see the hive has a whole lot more bees foraging. Checking YouTube, I have found that it is okay to split a hive as late as August in the UK. With long range forecasts being still on a warm autumn, I took the executive decision to split the hive and do a proper inspection. Actually, this will be the third attempt. Yeah, this is amateur beekeeping after all. In the background you can see our new second hive ready for the split. But first, let's look at what went wrong on those first two inspections. Well, the first time was just a complete state of utter shock. The theory was there, but the mind just went completely blank for a moment. I'd given the bees a couple of weeks to settle in and sort themselves out. The first two new frames hadn't been touched, and there were a few on the third next to the old frame of the starter colony. But when I saw the first old frame, well, it was just covered solid with bees. Supposed to look for eggs to show the queen is laying, but couldn't see the cells, let alone the eggs. A few cells around the edge could be seen, but half filled with honey. Recovering, I decided to check the next two frames, and the same result, packed solid with bees. The benefit of buying a 5-frame colony was a full production line of hundreds of new workers hatching out every day. After that, it was pointless doing any more, so we just shut up for the day, try again another day. This is my second attempt at a hive inspection, but I'd forgotten the frame holder. It wasn't until I replayed the video that I noticed there's a lot more bees working on the new frame, drawing it out. And then when I'd filmed the frame, I thought this would be a better way to do an inspection. By filming at each frame side, I can, at my leisure, check out the frames in slow motion and see more what's going on. I might even finally get to see the queen. So this is the plan for the third inspection, and that's when we're going to do the hive split, and then we will have a total and permanent record of what's on each frame. The CCTV has been set up on the new hive, and as you can see here we have a little bit of a problem with the wasps. There's one going in the side just now. I've set up a wasp trap just in the centre there, a small 500ml Dr. Pepper bottle. They seem to be about the right shape, and although there was a lot of wasps going to it, as you can see in this bit of film, a lot of them seem to be flying back out. I think I might have overfilled that one a bit. That's something you've got to watch out when you're filling your trap up. Make sure there's a gap there for them to get in. Now this is just a 6-minute piece of film that I've condensed down to 4 minutes, taking the more boring bits out. But you can see there's constant attacks, and you can see some of the bees. So there are some guard bees there. There we are. There's one being inspected, one of the bees coming back in, and this is not a good situation. It went on for about a month. There we go, chasing one another. I think there was a bee she just chased off, but it might have been from the other hive. Perhaps that smells different now. But as you can see, the wasps keep going to the wasp trap. Even if it's not killing them, at least it's distracting them from trying to get into the hive. So even if you're not even killing the wasps, at least they're going to the wasp trap. But there's some other little random bits here. There's a bee being inspected before she gets let in, and in a moment there's one of the wasps goes in and they drag it out. But I have seen on the internet that people have lost a hive with up to 40,000 bees in it, so this was, mine are probably down to about 20,000 in each hive, and they were both getting attacked, so it could have been a lot worse. I think the wasps were also coming from two different nests because they used to fly off in two different directions. But we've killed a few hundred, and there's another random moment. I think there's a bee larvae being dragged out. Possibly a wasp has killed it trying to steal it and been distracted or dragged off, and now the bee larvae dead is of course no use in the nest. But as you see here, the wasps are constantly at this, and this is going on all day, and it was pretty heavy for a whole month, so it's not a good idea to let your hive be. There you go, there's a couple of the bees. I've got one of the wasps dragged it out, and one of them drags it out the side. Now, the life of a guard bee is probably not too long in this situation, because they're either going to get stung by the wasps, or if they lose their stinger in the wasp, then they're dead anyway. So the drastic action that needs to be taken is that if you have this sort of situation going on, is to get the hive entrance severely reduced. It may cause a bit of a bottleneck come the rush hour when they're all trying to get in, but that's my fridge just starting up then. It interferes with the camera signal. But make sure that your entrances get reduced, and put down some traps to distract or even kill off some of the wasps that are attacking. They must have some way of communicating back to the nest that this is a good food source. And once they've learnt how to get in the nest, if they found a little nook or cranny, because I had another little hole at the other end they used to keep getting in, they keep coming back until they get killed off. So if your nest is being if your hive is being attacked by wasps, you must take action as soon as possible. Get those hive entrances reduced and set some traps up to reduce the number of wasps attacking your hive. It's a bit of a drizzly day and time to reset all the traps. I've reduced the entrance here even further with a plastic tray, so now we've only got about an inch for an entrance. There's still one or two bees flying out, even though it's still a steady drizzle. On the second entrance board here I've put a couple of plastic trays and used some brick shaling to fill up the last little gap, but the wasps have dug a little tunnel through there. Inside we can see we've got an awful lot more bees because, well, they're not out foraging today. There's a lot more on the flow frame hive as well. Let's see what's down at the entrance. Doesn't seem to be anybody hanging about at the entrance here. I'm going to reduce that entrance a little bit more with another block of wood soon. And at the back we've got 4 of the traps, but we can't see, unfortunately. There's 30 odd more dead wasps in each one. Let's tip them all out. There's the empty ones all together, because I've tipped all the bodies out over the front of the roof, and we've probably got 250, 300, maybe a few more, and it's a rather slimy, soupy mix of rotting bacterial fruit juice. Hopefully that'll wash away and just leave the dead bodies there. Maybe that will deter the wasps a little bit from thinking this is a good place to come and raid. After all the trauma and worry, a happy ending. It is the 2nd of September and the old hive has plenty of bees coming back to it. So I think we now have got a new queen. The grey hive seemed to behave more normal within a few days, so I think that's where the old queen went when I did the hive split. Also, I noticed the occasional larger bee flying back into the yellow hive. These must have been drones going out for toilet functions and exercising their wings for the big job. Like the elusive queen, I'd never seen drones before, and I haven't seen any more recently either. Also, with both hives being very active, there are less wasps about, but I do still find 1 or 2 inside every time I take the roof off and look through the clear see-through crown board. The war is not over, but we're not going to lose. There is still a bit of skirmishing, but it is a tremendous relief we now have 2 hives, just winter to get through. So, what lessons have we learned? Don't do an autumn split unless you really need to. Depending on your climate conditions, watch out for wasps in midsummer, when their nests are building up and they need more food. Wasps generally avoid the flight path into a busy entrance, so they will go underneath it or to the back or underneath the hive, especially if you pulled the Corex board out for ventilation. This will be my strategy for next year, as fruit juice doesn't normally attract bees, but does wasps, and putting traps out early will be more beneficial. The reason for this is over the August month we only killed 300 or 400 wasps, and a wasp nest by that time of year is 3,000 to 5,000 strong in number, so that's not a lot of damage. I think the key point is killing off those that raid your hive prevents them communicating back to their nest your hive as a food target. Also, before you get your hive started up with bees, make sure you have good fitting entrance reducers in multiple sizes down to a 1-inch gap, so you can respond immediately if there is a wasp problem. Bring it on next year and we'll be ready next time. The next video will be Wasp Wars Revisited, as there's more to discuss, such as meat bait and rainproofing your traps. Also a random piece of a wasp stung by a bee. I was quite impressed. So subscribe and watch our next video, number 6, Wasp Wars Revisited.